What gave me the idea? It is sometimes difficult to tell exactly what gives birth to an idea. Ideas are the chief stock in trade of newspaper writers, and generally they are the scarcest stock in market, but they do come occasionally. This idea came to me one Sunday. I had spent a greater part of the day and half the night vainly trying to fasten on some idea for a newspaper article. It was my custom to think up ideas on Sunday and lay them before my editor for his approval or disapproval on Monday. But ideas did not come that day, and 3 o'clock in the morning found me weary and with an aching head, tossing about in my bed. At last, tired and provoked at my slowness in finding a subject, something for the week's work, I thought fretfully, I wish I was at the other end of the earth. And why not? The thought came. I need a vacation. Why not take a trip around the world? It is easy to see how one thought followed another. The idea of a trip around the world pleased me, and I added, if I could do it as quickly as Phileas Fogg did, I should go. Then I wondered if it were possible to do the trip 80 days, and afterwards I went easily off to sleep with the determination to know before I saw my bed again if Phileas Fogg's record could be broken. I went to a steamship company's office that day and made a selection of timetables. Anxiously I sat down and went over them, and if I had found the elixir of life, I should not have felt better than I did when I conceived a hope that a tour of the world might be made in even less than 80 days. I approached my editor rather timidly on the subject. I was afraid he would think the idea too wild and visionary. "Have you any ideas?" he asked as I sat down by his desk. "One," I answered quietly. He sat toying with his pens, waiting for me to continue, so I blurted out, "I want to go around the world." "Well," he said, inquiringly looking up with a faint smile in his kind eyes. "I want to go around in 80 days or less. I think I can beat Phileas Fogg's record. May I try it?" To my dismay, he told me that in the office they had thought of this same idea before, and the intention was to send a man. However, he offered me the consolation that he would favor my going, and then we went to talk with the business manager about it.
If on the 13th of November, 1889, some amateur prophet had foretold that I should spend Christmas Day of that year in the Indian Ocean, I hope I should not by any open and insulting incredulity have added new burdens to the trials of a hard-working soothsayer. I hope I should, with the gentleness due a severe case of aberrated predictiveness, have merely called his attention to that passage in the Koran in which it is written, "The Lord loveth a cheerful liar," and bid him go in peace. Yet I did spend the 25th day of December steaming through the waters that wash the shores of the Indian Empire, and did do other things equally preposterous, of which I would not have believed myself capable if forewarned of them. I can only claim in excuse that these vagaries were unpremeditated, for the prophets neglected their opportunity, and I received no augury. On the 14th of November of the aforementioned year, I was awakened at 8 o'clock as usual by the maid with the breakfast tray, which also contained the morning papers and a neat pile of notes and letters. Among these latter were acceptances of invitations I had sent to half a dozen agreeable folk to come and drink 5 o'clock tea with me on the 15th, the usual communications from one's friends on casual subjects, an invitation to dinner, a bill, and a notice from my tailor that I might sometime during the day have the final fitting of a gown in process of construction. All as pleasantly commonplace as the most mild-mannered individual could expect or desire. I read the papers leisurely, made a calm and uneventful toilet, and the very first intimation I received of the coming thunderbolt out of the serene sky of my existence was a hurried and mysterious request, at 10:30 o'clock, that I would come as soon as possible to the office of the magazine of which I was one of the editors. My appetite for mystery at that hour of the day is always lamentably feeble, and it was nearly 11 before I found time to go and investigate this one, although the office in question was only a few minutes' walk from my residence.